Do work, baby. Do work.
That's right, everybody. Welcome to the People's Pre-Fight Show. We are getting you ready for UFC 288, which goes down in about 43 minutes and change from right now. The prelims will begin, and then we'll be working our way up the card to the main card on pay-per-view, and then the main event. As you can see, the two competitors will be battling for the UFC bantamweight title in the final fight. Aljamain Sterling taking on the returning Triple C, Henry Cejudo. We got Gilbert versus Bilal Muhammad. Big fight in the welterweight division, 5 rounds to potentially determine who will fight the winner of Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington, if and when that fight happens. And there's some other things to talk about as well. Welcome to the People's Pre-Fight Show. I am Mike Heck. I know it looks dark and dreary in here. I'm telling you, the hotel room that I'm in right now, it's lit pretty well, but behind me, there's just like one light behind me. I got like a desk lamp right in front of me. So if I turn the light on the back on, it looks much creepier than this does, but this looks very Blair Witchy right now. It's actually freaking me out a little bit. There we go. See, I'm giving you a little ambiance. Let me see. See, there's buildings. The sun is out. Maybe we'll leave it at that, so you know that I'm not in complete and utter darkness. It's a little brighter. It's a little brighter. But I am Mike Heck. Joining me on the ones and twos and to answer your questions, baddest stash in MMA, Casey Leydon. Where is he? There he is. What's up, buddy?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. You're by the studio. You're not in New Jersey, right? You're in good old New York, right?
I'm New York. Normally, I stay at a hotel that's like literally right across the street from the studio, but prices were a little higher than they usually are. So I stayed at a place probably like a 10-minute walk from the studio. That's actually way nicer, if we're being honest.
And 10-minute walk in New York is
way cheaper.
Nothing.
That's nothing.
That's nothing.
But I'm here in New York, of course. I'm here for the watch party, which will be going down at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. Myself, GC, Mysterious Frank, special guest Rob Font is going to join us for the main event. It's going to be a lot of fun. So 9:45 p.m. Eastern, you can watch the card with us. If you're ordering on pay-per-view, you can watch it together. We'll have like a fight clock so we can all watch at the same time. Or if you don't want to spend $80 on it, just watch the watch party and we'll tell you what the hell is happening. And we'll react to it like we're a bunch of idiots like we usually do. And it's wonderful. It's just a great time. And Casey's got his liquid death.
Yeah.
I will probably have many Prime energy drinks throughout the festivities. But until then, it is the People's Pre-Fight Show. We're going to take your questions. We're going to talk UFC 288 until the first punches are thrown. So all you got to do is leave your questions here. Casey will pull them up. We will discuss. And then we'll make our predictions for post-fight bonuses. We'll make our main card predictions, so forth and so on. So Casey, let's do this. Let's get the peeps fired up. Let's answer some questions.
All right. Well, we got to get the main one out of the way. Just get it out of the way. Wrong one. Oh, here it is.
UFC 288 on a plasma screen is awesome. Oh, God, there we go. I mean, absolutely. Do you think Parker Porter gets his journey towards a John Jones rematch underway tonight? He's fighting Braxton Smith. This might be the most, most interesting fight on the entire card because Braxton Smith is just an absolute madman.
And he hasn't taken his shirt off for us yet. Not at the official weigh-ins or the fake weigh-ins. He's like, no, you got to pay for the show. You got to show up if you want to see all of Braxton Smith. I like it. He's not giving it away for free. The man,
if he fights
in
a t-shirt, it'll be incredible.
He fights in a t-shirt.
plus, he probably saw Parker Porter on the scale and sees how shredded he is for this fight.
Yeah, he got intimidated. He's like, I got to hit the gym tonight.
You don't want to take your t-shirt off at the pool, you know? I get it. It happens. Parker's is an intimidating figure. But I am picking Parker Porter to win tonight. If we're being honest, Parker's a favorite of ours here at MMAfighting.com. I'd probably pick him against anybody, even
John Jones.
I don't know if I'd pick him against John Jones, but I was actually at that first fight, by the way.
Oh, you okay? Lay out the path. Let's lay out the path for Parker Porter to get a title shot. He wins tonight in spectacular fashion. Give me the lay it. This is what you're great at, Mike. Give me the path that Parker Porter has to do to get a title shot against John Jones. This is John Jones after he defeats Stipe, after he defeats Pavlovich, I assume, and then Parker Porter. So, what's the path for Parker Porter?
I'm gonna make
Oh,
it more light, make it less creepy. Uh, I mean, I know Andrei Arlovsky has a fight lined up. I think he's fighting. I want to say he's fighting Dontel Mays. I could be
that's
wrong
it.
about that.
That
Um,
sounds about right. Yeah.
but I think it's probably a fight like that, like a
So probably
Dontel Mays fight,
like
maybe,
a veteran, or mean like against
or
Mays or
Andrei
against
Arlovsky
Arlovsky?
kind of a
Okay.
fight. Yeah, you beat a guy like that. If you get the Arlovsky test and you win, that means you're probably gonna get like a top 15 guy next. Who knows? Maybe they'll just chuck him in there with good old Derek Lewis after a win like that. And then if he beats a guy like Derek Lewis, who knows? The sky's the limit. Now, could he fight for a world title? I mean, anything's possible. Will we see ever a John Jones Parker Porter rematch? Doubtful, but who knows? Maybe Parker's will just get so over and become such a star that we'll just get him over so much that John will just can't ignore it and he has to fight him. That he sees the dollar signs in Parker Porter. So no, I don't think he'll fight John Jones, but I am picking him to win this fight. I think he will weather the storm. I think he will not get put to sleep in the first round. This is probably a step back, if we're being honest, compared to the rest of the fights he's had in the UFC. And Parker Porter, Braxton Smith, if you watch his fights, the dude just comes, it's one speed, 100%, tries to get you out of there as fast as possible. And I feel like if Parker just takes him down, he's just going to sit on him and beat him up. So I'm picking kind of a dicey first round, but I think Parker makes it work, maybe gets a takedown, stays on top, lands some ground and pound. And I think in round 2, he's just like, nope, I'm getting this dude right down. And I say second round TKO, maybe a submission, but that's what I'm going with.
I don't want to put it out there in the universe, but man, Parker Porter, he better get a win tonight, or he better not get finished bad by Braxton, because that'll be 3 straight losses or 3 straight finishes, and even at heavyweight, that's still tough to come back from. So I don't want to say must win, but it might be a must win for Parker tonight.
It's possible.
So, all right.
Dana Blanco, thoughts on estimated pay-per-view buys for UFC 288? Several fights falling apart are going to keep me from purchasing. I will be tuning into the watch party with Heck and Burks, though, which we appreciate. I'll put it at, and we're never going to know the answer to this, by the way. I will put the over-under at 375,000 buys, Casey. Over-under.
I'm going to go under. Not that I'm just gonna go under. I think a lot of fans, a lot of casual fans, spent their money 2 weeks ago on a certain boxing pay-per-view, and then even last week we had a bare knuckle pay-per-view. I think this fight is missing. I mean, as much as I love bantamweights, because I say it's the best division, it's just not a division that people just want to throw out money and pay for. And unfortunately, I think this will be under. It's just missing something. I'm not sure.
I actually think it's going to do slightly better than that, because the June card looked just bad. Like, that is just not a great card. Nunes and Aldana. I mean, I think it's a better fight in the main event spot. We do get Darius Oliveira. We get Danny Ige, Nate Landwehr. That's the third best fight on the card. That's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to have people drop $80. So I think some fans are going to probably. I don't think they'll take 2 off in a row. I think they'll have to choose one of the. I think they'll choose one or the other, and then certainly get the International Fight Week card, because that's going to be the build to that's going to be fantastic. Who knows what the other July pay-per-view is going to look like, and then August there'll be a UFC pay-per-view. There'll be Jake Paul, Nate Diaz. There'll be like all these different crazy cards to spend money on. So I think if people are going to choose between this one and 289, I think people will drop the money on this one.
Question: does this sell better or worse if it was O'Malley?
Oh, way better.
You think so? I think Cejudo's. I mean, as cringy. I hate saying that word. As cringy as the trash talk has been, yeah, you still think it does better. O'Malley still draws 100%. In. Okay,
100%. Probably this would do 5 if O'Malley was the other guy against either of these two. O'Malley's the biggest star in the division. He's a bigger star than both these guys. I know Cejudo draws some interest in all of that, and I think if Aljo was not fighting O'Malley and not fighting Cejudo, this would do far less than the number I'm thinking it's going to do tonight. So I think Cejudo is the reason why I think it's going to be slightly higher. But if this is O'Malley, this would be a no-brainer. This would be 455 easy to make.
Why isn't this? Why isn't this O'Malley? Like, catch me up on that. Do we really know a reason for it?
I don't know. Like, I honestly, I blame
because the UFC knows that number two.
Go back and watch the UFC 280 post-fight show because Aljo dropped the ball. We talk about how important it is to have a name when you're done fighting. And Sean O'Malley had just beat Petr Yan. And that fight was billed as the winner of this fight gets the winner of the title fight between Aljamain Sterling and TJ Dillashaw. And what did Aljamain Sterling do? Instead of just going all in on Sean O'Malley, he was like, I'll fight Cheetos Vera. I'll fight Sean O'Malley. I'll fight Cejudo. I'll fight this dude. I'll fight this dude. Like, whoever the UFC wants to give me. And then as soon as Dana got to the press conference, someone asked him, like, who should Aljo fight next? And then he threw out a bunch of names. He goes, what about Henry Cejudo? And at that moment, I was like, oh, my God, here we go. And that's what led to the do the thing. Like, the whole mantra of do the thing was because of UFC 280. That's what turned everything around because Bilal Muhammad almost didn't do the thing as well. And what did Aljo do? He realized after the fact, I should have just went all in on O'Malley and got that bag. And he tried to be like, all right, listen, O'Malley's the fight. He's the bigger star. He's the bigger name. And then the UFC was just kind of like, all right, well, Cejudo's coming back. He's back in the pool. Let's just do this one. And O'Malley can get the winner. So, I mean, this is what we're getting. But I think if Aljo came out and was like, hey, Sean O'Malley just beat Petr Yan. He's next. Let's go. I think this would be the fight tonight.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I mean, we're getting Leydon versus Colby, a fight nobody asked for on the mic or anything. And like I just don't think the UFC, I think as much as the fans or we wanted it, I don't think the UFC cares what we want.
In some respects,
I mean,
you're right.
I mean, when they gave us Aldana, from what I noticed, I would say 95% of the media, 95% of fans were like, yes, this is the fight we actually wanted, Nunes versus Aldana. But the UFC still they tried to give us the opinion fight. Is it? Yeah. I guess what I'm asking is, like, I just don't know how much weight really goes into that post-fight, give me this guy thing. I mean, you believe there's a little more weight, and you believe that if Aljo really sold it at the very beginning, it could have been O'Malley. I don't know. I think there's something missing that we just don't. Maybe we just don't know. I don't know what it is.
The thing with me is if you call out somebody, like, just stay with it. Be consistent. Like with the Bilal example, if you call out Colby, just stick with Colby. Don't go and do 800 interviews and call out Hamzat when on the microphone you called out Colby, because then you just wasted it all. And when instead, if you just called out Hamzat and then did 800 interviews, still calling out Hamzat, Bilal probably would have got that fight. He probably would have got that fight before Gilbert Burns got that fight, but he didn't, and Gilbert Burns ended up getting it. So I don't know. It's part of it. Like, that separates guys like, because Bilal Muhammad is like that. Those moments are how you become a star. Like, if Bilal Muhammad wins this fight tonight, he's going to be in a great spot because he's going to get over like Rover. I think he's actually trended upwards this year with the whole Colby thing and running with the ball after the whole John Anik, Colby Covington situation. He did a great job with that, to the point where people were like, yeah, screw it. Like, let's just do Leydon versus the Burns Masvidal winner, and let's do Bilal versus Colby. Like, for the first time, people were like, all right, let's do Bilal versus Colby because of the way Bilal's handled himself. And if he goes in there and wins this fight tonight, he's in a great spot, in my opinion. Like, for sure. Just, we'll see what he does, but I don't know. I honestly, it's not every, like, if Parker Porter goes out and beats Braxton Smith and then calls out Francis Ngannou, like, that's silly. That makes no sense. Or calls out John Jones. Like, that's not realistic. That's not realistic. But if you call out Andrei Arlovski, you might get him. Like, his next fight. Like, whatever happens with Arlovski next. Like, Arlovski, win or lose, I want you next. They're probably going to give it to him. That's just kind of how it works.
It's like, the UFC likes making money. That's their thing, and I think we all agree Sean O'Malley was the pay-per-view fight to make. So I'm just surprised that the UFC didn't go after that money. So
I also think they kind of got a little cute with it too because they get Cejudo back, and I think they're like, it's not like the UFC's in the boardroom and they're like, oh boy, like let's put this fight together because we really want Henry to win this fight. But I don't think the UFC would be too terribly upset if Henry does win this fight because Henry versus O'Malley is just going to be ugly to watch. That whole build, that is not going to be the most fun build for sure. But even so, like if Aljo or Cejudo won and they wanted to like just say I'm vacating the title and go to 145, if Marlon Vera happened to beat Corey Sandhagen, they could have done Marlon Vera versus Sean O'Malley too for the vacant title, and that would have been a humongous fight for the division. So it didn't really work out that way. This is what we get, and the winner of this is still going to fight O'Malley, and it's going to be a big deal. So it's all going to probably work out. But if you're Aljo, you could have gotten the O'Malley fight like now and then just moved up to 145. But now you have to wait another fight to fight Sean. And then he even said at the weigh-in yesterday, like, man, this is way tougher of a cut than I thought it was going to be. I don't know how many more times he can do it.
well, we'll see how he performs tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, I can't. I am fired up for that one. Tristan, which fighter are you more concerned for, Bilal or Gilbert, considering the quick turnaround for both fighters as well as both not having the proper fight camp? Look, I'm not going to sit there and say what I've been saying, that this fight is, like, for the timing is stupid and it makes no sense because Colby and Leydon aren't fighting till like the end of the year, October-ish. So like to rush this fight in kind of makes no sense, but it's here and I'm selfishly intrigued by it because of the short notice nature of it all. But who do you think I'll phrase it this way for you, Casey. The short notice nature of this all, who do you think it favors more? Do you think it favors Gilbert because he just got out of a camp and fought Masvidal and he's getting right back into camp? Or Bilal, who's just kind of like, don't really need to overthink this one. I just got to go in there and fight and beat this dude.
I think it favors Gilbert. I'm assuming everyone's healthy, but Gilbert, I was assuming Gilbert. His body's primed. He just went through a 15-minute, I think, a pretty dominant decision victory over a slippery Jorge Masvidal. I'm like Dana on this one. Activity matters, and and Bilal with the big weight cut. What's all this ankle injury stuff? You know what this is about? I've been seeing a lot of this.
It seems super overblown to me.
Someone saw him limp once, and that was.
But even when he stepped on the scale, like at the ceremonials, you didn't really see much there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think Bilal was forced into this fight? Like, if he had a choice, he wouldn't have taken it. Like say the UFC offered it to him. He can't. Obviously, he made the cut, but say he just didn't want to. He's like, you know what? I want a full camp. Would that have been bad for Bilal? Like is he being a company man for the UFC by taking this fight?
Sure.
Too much so. Where it's like if he loses, are they gonna throw him to the back of the line? Because
if he loses, listen. Here's the deal: he was either gonna fight Shavkat Rakhmonov, or if he loses this fight, he's still gonna fight Shavkat Rakhmonov. So
win or lose, he could face him still. Yeah.
I think if he wins, he's not gonna have to fight him. I'm hoping not at this point. If he loses, he's definitely fighting him. Which is probably the fight he should want if he does lose, because no other fight outside of a Hamzat fight, and we don't think Hamzat, or maybe an Usman fight, would do much for Bilal to even get back in the picture. So, I mean, the shortest path to a title for Bilal is going in there especially with this fight being delayed and whatever. The best thing for Bilal is taking this fight, 100%. Otherwise, it's Shavkat probably still had to win one more after that against somebody else, and then he would get there. But if he wins this, he's in a really good spot. Might not get it, but he has a very good chance to. Much better if he didn't take this fight. And I actually think Bilal's going to win. I'm actually picking Bilal to win.
All right. How you?
I did not like what I
What's
saw in the Gilbert Burns Masvidal fight. I did not
really?
like what I saw. No, I didn't think
thought
Burns looked great. I think he looked his age. I thought he looked his age in that fight.
but if you wouldn't put, I know this is a very hypothetical, but if it was Masvidal versus Bilal, like, do you think Bilal would have done something spectacular where you went, like, where you're going, yeah, this is the man? I mean, I'm trying to give Masvidal a little bit more credit, basically.
No one gave Masvidal more credit heading into that fight than I did. I was the one saying, like, that betting line is insane. Masvidal is going to be way more competitive than everyone thinks he's going to be, and then he just kind of got run over. But it wasn't like, I mean, there was like no question that Gilbert won. But
yeah, I think he didn't get outclassed. Gilbert was the better fighter, but Masvidal was still like a top 20 welterweight.
Yeah, I think Bilal would have been more dominant. Honestly, he would have put the pressure on him like immediately, and I don't think that fight would have been very close. Now, I could be wrong. Gilbert Burns was just like, I'm just going to go in there and get a win. Maybe he's just feeling the pressure of it all. Who knows? But I went back and rewatched it. Like, I watched it obviously live during the watch party last time, and just was like, all right, Burns won, and like he dominated. And then I rewatched it this week, and I was like, it looks kind of slow in there. And I feel like Bilal is not going to be that. I feel like even with the short notice, Bilal is going to just put the pressure on him. And I think the 5 rounds actually favors Bilal more than it favors Gilbert, even with the short notice nature of it. Because it's not like Bilal ever is not training. He had Ramadan, but he's still training.
Yeah, big weight cut. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I did not take any. I keep forgetting this is 5 rounds, and I'm happy it's 5 rounds, and I hope both fighters are paid like it's a 5-round fight. But I'm assuming you're getting the money for it because I know as fans we all want to see 5-round fights between top contenders, but as an adult who cares about how the fighters are getting paid, I hope they are compensated for that because that is many extra hours and wear and tear in the body in the training room for that. But
and hopefully they each got a big bag of money for doing this.
Yeah, I'm not. Ooh, God, I'm very interested. If it was full camp, I would definitely say it favors Bilal. But shorter camp, bigger weight cut, I'm not sure if there's going to be as big an advantage for Bilal being the 5-round fight. We will see. That's why that's the fun part. That's the fun part. There's a little mystery we don't know, so we'll see.
It's intriguing. The short notice nature makes
it is intriguing. It is intriguing. I do like the fight. It is intriguing. I will give it that.
Could the delay in the Jones-Stipe fight be because the UFC is actively in negotiations with Francis as well right now? I mean, Jesus, no idea.
Wouldn't that be the craziest switcheroo if all of a sudden UFC announces John Jones versus?
It would be incredible, and it would not shock me if that happened.
It wouldn't shock me at all. When Dana did the whole "we're never signing him again," I was like, okay, whatever. That's clearly to me negotiation right there. That almost lowers Francis's price with every other promotion because now PFL, Bellator, now they already know, well, we don't have to compete with the UFC. That to me, and then UFC at the very end can go, okay, now we want to, we'll see what PFL offers. Then we're going to give you $1 more or something. But I don't think it's out of the question what this suggestion is. I would love that. That's the fight I think we all want.
If they want to keep John Jones around for more than one fight, they will re-sign him. Like, you have to get him back. Honestly, Sergey Pavlovich, unless the UFC is like, we'll pay you $30 million to fight Sergey Pavlovich, he ain't going to fight Sergey. He is not interested in fighting him at all. Francis, he would absolutely be interested in fighting because he would get that $30 million, I'm sure, after all said and done with the gates and the pay-per-view buys and stuff, because that's one of the top 3 biggest fights the UFC can put together right now, 100%. So
we know
I would say Jones. No, and even I'll let you go in a second.
No, go.
Even if like during the broadcast we find out that Francis signs with the PFL, Francis ain't signing for like a 6-fight deal with them. He's signing like 2 fights. He's in and out. With like options, that was one of the big things.
A lot of options.
Deals, in and out. So even if he signs with PFL, I still wouldn't rule out a UFC return.
We all know John Jones wants to make lots of money. We all know John Jones wants to be considered, like, unquestioned, the pound for pound best ever, the GOAT, all that stuff. Should John Jones be demanding to the UFC publicly and privately, re-sign Francis? Like, is that to fight John Jones? Should he be like going, why sign this man? Like, or is he going? Because he seems to be like, well, whatever, whatever. Because to me, I don't want to say John Jones is scared. That's not the right word. But if he wants to cement that legacy that we know he wants, I don't understand why he's not demanding the UFC sign Francis.
Well, he did an interview with Fox Sports Australia, and he said, "I'm fighting Stipe. If I beat him, that's it." And then he was asked what else would make sense for him to keep going, and he said, "The Francis fight would bring me back for another one." Then he mentioned Pavlovich, but only if they paid him like a huge bag of money. And I just don't know if Pavlovich is there yet for the UFC to like invest that kind of dollars.
And that's the problem with the UFC Apex. He had a great knockout and like in the UFC Apex in front of 3 people. So, but that's another subject. Why Pavlovich isn't a star. But
Pavlovich fought in front of a crowd before that. Yeah. He was on that Orlando card, so he knocked out Tai Tuivasa.
But you need more of those.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah. I hope Francis resigns with the UFC solely for this John Jones fight, and I hope he gets what he wants to. And that's the problem, because we know Francis has principle, and he wants certain things, for himself and for the industry, the fighters as a whole. And I don't know if that's those two paths are ever going to cross.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
All right. Okay, here we go.
Is Aljamain the stronger man tonight versus Cejudo? Yes or no? How much of a factor would strength play into their fight? So Aljo is clearly the bigger fighter. He's going to look like 25 pounds heavier than Cejudo tonight. He's the taller fighter. The reach is longer. He's just going to look way bigger than Henry Cejudo when they had that final face-off tonight. But Vince brings up a very interesting question. Is Aljamain Sterling stronger than Henry Cejudo?
I mean, are we talking strictly like in the weight room? Like, because I don't think it matters.
Like if they have clinch, if they get up against the fence, who's going to win those exchanges against the fence? Like who's going to have the advantage? Who's going to be able to do more? Who's going to be able to keep the opponent's back against the fence and be able to land knees and, try to wear down the other? Because I actually think it's Cejudo. I actually think Cejudo will be, I don't know if he's the stronger fighter, but it's not going to be like Aljo is going to be way stronger than him. The strength might be pretty similar. It's not going to be as much of an advantage in this fight than it typically is for Aljo.
I think the bigger question for me is not who's going to be stronger, is going to be if Cejudo gets in a bad position with Aljamain, will he be like everyone else? And essentially, once Aljamain gets a dominant position on you, be it mount, be it your back, be it just a strong side control, can Cejudo ever actually get up and get a dominant position from that, using technique and strength? And that's where the size thing is going to be coming in. Cejudo is just too small for this elite level of competitor that Aljamain is. I don't know. How long has it been since Cejudo? 3 years? What is it?
3 years.
That's a long time. And I know he doesn't have lots of miles on him, but I will go ahead and say he's past his athletic prime. He's still near the prime, but he's not, way down there. But I feel Aljamain is at his prime against a aging Cejudo in a very young division. I don't know. It's 3 years away. Way too much speculation, honestly. I mean,
we will see.
Yeah,
it's just one of those questions. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
What are the stakes for Drew Dober? I feel like he's right on the precipice of being a star. He low-key gets really good social media traffic. Yeah, this fight's going to be great. These two are going to beat the shit out of each other, and it's going to be fun, and we're all going to love it. But I agree with Drew Dober when he said at the media day and with Ariel, like, I thought I was going to get a much bigger name than Matt Frevola. And I was very surprised this fight was made. I was not upset about it because this fight's going to be great stylistically, but he's got to get a ranked guy next after this, right? If he goes out there and just melts Matt Frevola, like, there is no more unranked guys. You got to get in there with You gotta get there with somebody with a number next to their name, right? He might not like who that is, but he's got to be in there with somebody like that, right?
Yeah, Matt Favola is an exciting fighter for sure, just not the name. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I am surprised this fight happened, but I think this is the main event in the prelims, right? This
Yeah,
fight,
featured prelim.
the featured prelim, which usually that's just promoter BS, but for a featured prelim for a pay per view is actually a very important spot. So the UFC putting, I think, all now their promotional push behind Drew Dober in this fight, Drew Dober in this fight. I do think this is could be a big night for Dober. If Dober wins big against Favola, yeah, he absolutely is getting a marquee lightweight. I'm not sure I'm not sure ranking wise, but I think he's gonna get a name, and I expect his next fight with a win to be either a main event. Has he main evented before? I don't think he's ever main evented.
No, he hasn't headline.
Yeah, not even like the million fight. Yeah, I expect him to get a main event for a fight night, or be on like maybe, I don't, depending who the name is, possibly a co-main event on a pay-per-view, depending who he'd be probably the B side. I mean, I can't really think of a name right now, but
I think he's either gonna fight Grant Dawson or Arman Sarukian next if he wins tonight.
yeah,
Those are
so
two tough fights.
Yeah, so basically he's still getting guys on their way up. He's not gonna get a I'm just gonna throw like a Gaethje or a Poirier yet, no matter what he does tonight.
No, if Gaethje had lost, Dober Fiziev would be a lot of fun. Maybe that's the way to go. Fiziev coming off the loss to Gaethje.
Yeah,
Dober Gamrot would be fun. All those fights would be fun.
Yeah, even. Yeah, but I definitely think this fight is set up for Drew Dober to do something big, and if he does it big tonight, then his next fight, yeah. When this gentleman's asking about is he going to be a star, I think tonight is that night because they've given Dober an opportunity to be a star. Unfortunately, he ran into Makhachev. He ran into Beneil Dariush. Brad Riddell. How did he lose to Brad Riddell? I don't really remember that fight. He lost by decision, but I don't really remember it too much. Was it a good fight?
It was a good fight.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back in my memory. I can't really remember it too
I didn't
much.
go back and rewatch that one, but I remember it being a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
And Dober's looks good getting off the bus. He's
looks dang good. that's a good.
He's a handsome man. He speaks well.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, man, if Matt Favola goes out there and beats Drew Dober in Newark, he's going to come off looking like a huge star because the place is going to go bananas for him.
And he's not too bad on the mic, too, Favola. I think he's showing off. He's getting a little more comfortable. I like it.
You root for guys like him.
Yeah. Fun fight. Fun fight. Fun main event prelim, whatever you call it.
Yeah, I like that fight a lot.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the one card? I will say I watched the main event at the airport this morning. I did not watch it live because I had to be up at 3:00 this morning. So I tried and I was like, man, I saw Soldic. The only thing I saw before I went to sleep was Soldic getting finished. And I was like, whoa,
Ooh.
Didn't see that happening. But I watched DJ's win and it was a close competitive fight for 2 rounds. And then DJ just kind of took over and won and did DJ things. But what did you think? I seems like something. Stamp Fairtex. I saw the clip of her finish. That was nasty.
As far as the one card, I'm not a big fan of the ones just production as a whole. But I thought last night, I don't know what was different. They had a great entrance. The screens, the walkouts looked fantastic. You can find it online. I think Arrow retweeted Stamp Fairtex's entrance was phenomenal. It was great. Just generally the cage looked brighter. I always for some reason, I always think one cards look a little underexposed. But I thought the card was good. I thought it was a good presentation. The fans in Denver, it felt like a big event there, which is good. It didn't feel like it felt like a big show, basically. It felt like a big show. One thing I hate, I can't believe they did this. They were playing a heartbeat during the fights, like during the main event.
I saw you tweet out about that.
Yeah, and apparently, I guess maybe some people were watching on laptops or something, and maybe like their speaker, or you have to have a subwoofer or something. They couldn't hear it because some people were like, I don't hear it. But people said in the arena, there was literally a heartbeat playing in the arena during the fights. That's just silly.
I heard the pacing was not great either.
And generally the pace. But I think we got spoiled by bare knuckle last week. We're pacing they felt like they had two fights going on at once. It was great. So the pacing was a bit. I didn't watch it completely live. I kind of tuned in. I kind of went in and out because I was just wanting to watch the fights I wanted to watch. But overall, I still think it was a good night for one. Still need the heartbeat thing. I think they're just them maybe overthinking it a bit and like, oh well, at a heartbeat. But yeah, let's go back a little bit. But otherwise, I like it. I like how easy it is to watch too on Amazon Prime. It's just very easy, and that's a big thing. It's just very easy to watch. So like as soon as it's on Prime, it was like pretty much the first or second thing that popped up on the screen. I don't know if that's just for me or for everyone that has Prime, but yeah, it was easy and good job. And the Rising, because I know no one saw it because it was really late at night, but the Rising card was freaking awesome too. So go watch Rising card if you can.
All right. There you go. What else we got? Did anyone see New Guardians of the Galaxy yet? Pretty solid. I've not seen it yet. When my kid is ready to see it, I will see it. I just don't know. It's tough to drop 2.5 hours of time in a movie theater these days. It's very tough. The last two movies I saw, and what a contrast of styles these two movies are. Mario Brothers movie, which is great.
I want to see that. I want to see it.
It's tremendous. And you're in and out of there. Like the previews are long, but like the movie is like 80 minutes. It's like quick. It's easy to watch. It's fun. It's great. And then the other one I saw was Evil Dead Rise, and that is not the Mario movie.
I want to. What would you say? It's not a what movie?
It's certainly not the Mario Brothers movie. Oh, that is. I mean, it's literally the complete opposite.
I want to see both those movies. You saw Evil Dead. That's so cool. I
did.
I haven't got a chance to see it yet.
Wow. It's something.
Okay. Yes.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
if you're a horror movie fan, it is good stuff. It's a little brutal. Not as brutal as the Evil Dead from like a decade ago when they tried to do the remake. That was just like the most joyless, brutal movie I've ever seen. This one's like still kind of joyless in a brutal way, but a little more fun. They try to be funny.
Yeah.
But I've not seen Guardians of the Galaxy yet. But Evil Dead Rise is it's something.
Yeah, I want to go see Evil Dead Rise and the Mario Brothers movie. I don't actually plan to see the Guardians of the Galaxy movie in theaters. I'll watch it on a plane or something. Sorry, not the biggest Marvel fan, but yeah, cool.
There's a Ninja Turtles cartoon movie coming out too, so get excited. A question: who on the main card has the most to lose with a loss? I feel like it's Aljamain Sterling. For sure. I feel like that's the obvious answer, but
what's wild is like if Sterling loses, there's no real talk of a rematch.
Like there will be no rematch. There'll be no rematch.
That that just goes to show you. We talk about is he the most undervalued, or what's the word? Undervalued champion in the UFC right now, considering this is his third title defense, or was it third or fourth? Third.
This will be 3. He'll be if Sterling wins tonight, he becomes the first bantamweight ever to defend the title 3 times in a row. No one's ever done it.
Yeah, and we're not going to give him a rematch at all if he loses tonight, which I think is like
the only way they would do a rematch is if this fight is incredibly close and like the majority of people feel like Aljo won and they give it to Cejudo, and Dana goes to the presser and goes, Aljo won. Aljo should have won that. So
unless it's a legitimate bad decision, say like
if it's a bad decision, they will run it
Shogun, like a Machida Shogun type of fight.
Yeah,
one where.
But Sean O'Malley's waiting. Like they're going to try to get to that ASAP. What I mean. But if it's something like that, it
has to be one of the worst decisions, honestly.
Yeah,
like if
it's a clear win if it's a clear decision win for Cejudo, they're not giving him a rematch.
Is that disrespectful to? I kind of hate direct rematches, but that seems to go against the UFC's kind of past when it comes to champions losing their titles. Just
Yeah.
Aljamain, he's just not that guy, I guess.
I mean, Aljo's been pretty vocal. Like good for him. He's getting a main event. Like this is Aljamain Sterling's first main
First
event
main event.
ever. Like not pay-per-view main event. This is his first main event ever. I mean, come on. If O'Malley wasn't the man in waiting, I would probably say there's the immediate rematch there. I mean, you got Merab there too. So, but I think Merab would be like, dude, go get your rematch. But I think the O'Malley factor is it's too strong. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Aljo's like completely out of the title picture altogether. But if he wants to move to 145, he should probably just go if he loses this fight.
I think that if him losing and going to 45, I think it's really dependent on who he gets at 45. Like, are they going to give him a? I doubt they're not going to give him a title shot, but I'm assuming they'll give him.
Dude, they're going to give him. They're going to give him Ilya Taporia or like a Movsar Evloev right out the gate, and if he beats one of those guys, then he's going to fight Max Holloway, and then they'll see what he can do. But they ain't get that road. They're not going to give him.
Yeah,
they're not giving him Darren Elkins. No disrespect to Darren Elkins.
Yeah, I understand. Now, if I'm Sterling, like, so you're assuming if you lose tonight, you go to 45, then you should be in a position where you just need one win to get a title shot. And I think for Sterling, the only fight that makes sense would be Max Holloway. That would be a sick fight. It's a fight that I never really thought about, but now if I actually saw it, like, oh my goodness, because Sterling versus Max Holloway at 45 would be super interesting. But as if he loses tonight. But why wouldn't? Okay, so when Stipe lost to DC, how many title defenses did Stipe have?
The most. He had the most ever.
But it was only like 3, right? Wasn't it like 3 or 4? Like
3 or 4, yeah. Because that was after the Ngannou win.
It's after the Ngannou win. Yeah, I just think, Sterling just doesn't have that same respect at 35, and and the reason is it's not his fault. Asterisk is the wrong term, but like every title defense seems kind of just there's something just not clear cut. Like It wasn't like he beat Jan, I get it, but it wasn't the type of decisive one I think fans wanted. The TJ thing, not Aljamain's fault. Who am I missing?
The DQ is also not Aljamain's fault.
Yeah, DQ. Yeah, He has had one of the weirdest title runs for a dominant champion, maybe ever.
It's nuts, man. And he's still super good. That's why like tonight is so important to him. Like this can't be like a weird finish. This can't be like Aljo lands a leg kick and Cejudo hobbles on the ankle and falls down. The fight's over. Like it can't be that. Although I think he would get more credit for a win like that than others, but it needs to be pure. It needs to be like a pure, clean win where it's like no controversy, no doubts, no storylines after the fact. It's just these two dudes went in there, Aljo won, and anything Cejudo says in the fans' eyes will be a quote unquote excuse. Like that's it. Anything else, it's still going to be the same conversation. That's why this fight's so important.
Yeah, I hope if Aljo wins, I hope Cejudo looks good in defeat, because if it's like if Cejudo just looks like a guy that's been out for 3 years,
man, yeah,
and actually no matter what, for Sterling haters or whatever, that's just always gonna be there. I mean, the guy did have it's a long break. It's a long break. It's
just such a weird time for him to leave too. Like all of it was just weird. And even he admitted it was just like, I kind of want to be respected more. And then he kind of realized like, I'm just not as high up as I thought I was. But he was getting there. That was the thing. Like he was on his way. He was like beats Cruz. He was starting to get over. And I think I remember it was like right before the UFC 249. I don't know if we were doing the Q&As back then. That was like right around when I started, but we definitely were doing a preview show. And even I was admitting like Henry's getting over. Like people are reacting to what he's doing. People are starting to like Henry Cejudo because he would go to the media days and like you kind of get to see the real Henry outside of the social media persona that he presents. And you kind of like it. You kind of like he's honest and he says weird things here and there, but for the most part, it's just he's laid back. It's Henry. It's not Triple C talking, and it's nice, refreshing change of pace. And then he beats Cruz, and we're like, all right, this dude's on to something. And then he's like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm not making enough money. And then the UFC was just like, that night, Dana's like, we'll call him on Monday and try to talk him out of it. If not, Petr Yan's going to fight for the vacant title against somebody else. Like, they moved on that night because he left him like that. So that was like my biggest issue of him, like just getting an immediate title shot. Not the resume. It's just that he left them high and dry. And this is bantamweight where you could throw in like 6 dudes to fight for the belt and it would make sense. So.
And going back when Cejudo retired, he even going into the Dominic fight, he kept saying, we need to be paid like heavyweight champions. He kept saying that. I haven't watched everything that Cejudo said this week. Has he talked about the pay yet? Did he say that he's getting the proper pay? Or
he said he's happy with it. He said one of the big things was he talked to Demetrius Johnson, and Demetrius is like, dude, the most money you can make right now is fighting. Like, you can coach and do YouTube and all that stuff, and like you can do fine, but you will make more money doing. There's nothing you can do right now that you will make more money at than actually getting in there and fighting people. And Henry Cejudo, it was like an epiphany when DJ said it to him. And he's like, you know what? It's fine. I guess he's happy with it. He's happy enough to come back, but to him, it doesn't seem like it's a money thing because he thinks the money is easy. Like, I truly think he believes that he's going to walk through Aljamain Sterling tonight, that he feels like Aljo is not as good as people think he is. He's been very confident. His team has been very confident. I talked to Captain Eric for Ariel. I talked to Eddie Cha as well. They are supremely confident that Henry Cejudo is going to beat up Aljamain Sterling tonight. Like, extremely confident. And I talked to Eric Nixick too, and like, Eric's obviously not going to pick against this guy, but I mean, it was more about like, I'm going to watch this as a fan. Like, these two dudes and like the students of the game getting after, like, he's interested in it. But Eddie Cha's like, this dude is better than he was when he left. Like, he's the same skill set, a little stronger, but he's actually like smarter and like a wise, heavy-headed Henry Cejudo with like all this wisdom in his mind after training and watching fights and just being a student over the last 3 years. Like, his mind is sharper than it's ever been. And they think that's the scariest thing about him now. But again, so it makes this fight interesting. Who knows? He could go out there and do what John Jones did to Cyril Gane. Like, who the hell knows? Or he could look like a guy who hasn't fought in 3 years. I don't know.
I mean, the last person to walk through Sterling, I think, would have been Moraes.
Moraes.
And that was 7 years ago. Who are we at now?
Yeah, that was just like wasn't that like a kick, but it ended up being a knee because he got in too close and he just
Sterling, I think, changed levels. Moraes was going to throw a kick, and then he adjusted the kick with a knee, which is what you're supposed to do, and it just put Sterling in the hospital. But Sterling made a mistake. Moraes was at his prime, and I think Moraes won it, 2 fights later fighting Cejudo, and I think Cejudo's best performance of his career when he defeated the prime Marlon Moraes. So yeah. So but go back to this question: who has the most to lose? Aljamain Sterling, right?
Oh yeah.
What about Cejudo? How about Cejudo if he loses tonight?
I don't think his legacy takes a huge hit if he loses this fight.
I was up for 3 years. Maybe we go back to that.
2-division champ. There aren't a lot of those. After the 2 losses, the run he had before he retired is one of the best ever. It's one of the best the division's ever had. Between 25 and 35, just overall, just what a run. The names he knocked off, beating DJ is just huge. Even if he didn't score for him, which I did, and I scored it for DJ, as most other people did. It's just hard to ignore what he did. Now, if he just gets done up by Aljo in like 30 seconds, that's different. But if this fight's competitive and he loses, like, I don't think it hurts him too badly. So for what he wants to do to like get the Volk, like if he loses, he's not getting the Volk fight. That's all those goals are probably.
He's not getting a title fight for absolutely if he loses. But
that Volk fight dies if he loses tonight. But the legacy doesn't die, if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't die. Yeah. All right.
All right, so the first fight is about to
oh, sorry.
start.
Go on. What's going on in the broadcast? I don't have it up on my screen.
They're doing the promo for the first fight, which is Joseph Holmes versus Claudio Ribeiro. And the walks are about to happen. Megan O'Leary is just crushing it like she normally does. So while we have the walks here, let's do what are your bonus predictions for UFC 288, Casey?
Oh, thank you everyone for your questions. Sorry we couldn't get to them all. I know there were lots of great questions, but fortunately now they're fighting. Okay, bonus predictions. All right, here we go. Charles Jourdain, with a big knockout.
Oh.
Gilbert Burns of a big knockout.
Wow.
Did I get? Yep, I'm going Burns. And fight of the night will be. I'm gonna be hopeful. I'm gonna go Andrade versus Jan. I'm excited about that fight.
Okay. Fight of the night seems like a no-brainer. It's going to be Dober Frivola. Even though I don't think it's going to get out of the first round, I think it's going to be like a Gaethje Oliveira type of fight.
That's why I didn't go fight of the night, because I think someone's going to be slept, but I don't know.
Yeah, but I still think it'll get fight of the night.
Okay.
Performance of the night, I will go. Where are my picks? There they are. I will go. I will go Chaos Williams.
Ooh.
Because I think he's going to get a first round knockout tonight.
I think I did pick that.
And I'm actually going. I picked Bilal Muhammad. I said Bilal Muhammad decision on the preview show. My official pick is Bilal Muhammad 4th round TKO. So I'm going to go Bilal, Chaos Williams, Dober Frivola.
Wow. That'll be. Man,
but
if
it could be anybody. Like, have you seen my picks? 12 fights. I have 10 finishes. 10 finishes.
One, two, three. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Including this fight.
6. I have how many fights are this? Yeah, I have 6 finishes. 6 finishes, 6 decisions on my official.
I have 10.
Card.
The main event and the Verna Jandiroba Marina Rodriguez fight. The only two I don't have being finishes. Every other one I have is a finish.
Oh, no one asked this low key banger. For me, obviously, it's going to be Rodriguez Jandiroba. I'm actually super excited for that fight. I think it's going to be good.
I mean, it's Parker Porter, Braxton Smith, 100%.
Well, it's not a low key banger. That's just they put that
true.
down.
That's the people's main event.
If
we're being fair. Let's do main card picks. You're picking Charles Jourdain by KO knockout.
Yep.
I'm actually picking Chrome Gracie 1st round sub.
All right. Well, I mean, I think
it's a vibes pick.
Yeah. We know nothing on that fight. We know that's
literally
completely
nothing.
Guess. We have.
I know less about that fight than the main event.
Yeah, we know nothing about the fight. Yeah, Crone's been out even longer than Cejudo's been out. So yeah, zero. Yeah, guesses what's going to happen.
I assume you're picking Movsar Evloev. How?
Yes. 30-26.
I got 2nd round sub. I think he submits Diego Lopez.
I
get Jessica Andrade 3rd round TKO.
Ooh. I'm going Jan. I'm going actually Jan decision, but an exciting fight. Exciting fight.
I think Jessica Andrade gets a finish in the 3rd in a fight that's probably 19-19 heading into the 3rd. I think that's going to be a really tight one. I'm picking Bilal Muhammad to pull away and eventually finish Gilbert Burns round 4 TKO. You're the total opposite. You're picking Gilbert Burns
second round KO.
All right. I do think I said it on the previous show. If the finish happens, I am
a believer in Muhammad. I am a believer of Bilal Muhammad. I'm not saying he sucks. Yeah, he's overrated. I'm not like that.
Oh, I get it.
I just think Gilbert Burns is going to win tonight. Yeah.
I hear you. I think a lot of the stuff kind of favors Gilbert in a lot of respects. Main event. And once again, Casey.
Oh, and once again, I was like, wait, who? And still, Aljamain Sterling by unanimous decision.
Me too. Same Z's.
All right.
Close fight. Gonna be a competitive fight.
I think so.
I think kind of weird, but someone wagered $10,000 on Joseph Holmes to win by KO, TKO, DQ, or submission. Potential payout $35,000.
All right, man.
You crazy?
You know, if I low-key banger, I'm also very interested in this. I can't even say his name. The guy that's fighting Phil Hawes, the Sambo guy, the
Ikram Aliskerov.
Yeah, I don't know very much about him, but from what people say, he's freaking awesome. So, I'm a big Phil Hawes fan, but I just don't. I don't think he's going to turn out as good as I hoped he was going to be, but I think he's still a legit middleweight and very tough. But I'm very excited to see what this guy is up to because a lot of people seem to be talking about him.
I will say this. One of the more shocking turn of events of the night is if Phil Hawes beats this guy. I will be legitimately stunned if Phil Hawes beats Aliskerov. I mean, Phil's good. This guy going on the Contender Series was a friggin' travesty. He should have been in the UFC like 2 fights before that. Like, you don't throw guys like that on the Contender Series. You just sign him outright. He's that good.
Yeah, that good.
So, well, we'll see how he does in a matter of moments. But right now we got Claudio Ribeiro and Joseph Holmes getting ready to get after it. And I have to get out of here because I have to walk over to the studio to get ready for the watch party. So that's where I'll be heading, enjoying the beautiful weather here in New York City. And I am excited. I hope you are as well. UFC 288, ladies and gentlemen. We got boots on the ground. New York Rick in the house at the Pru. So we'll have post-fight interviews, press conference. We'll be back with a post-fight show afterwards as well. So get ready, everybody. Get ready and have a good time. And we'll see you at 9:45 p.m. Eastern for the watch party. Whether you're buying the pay-per-view or not, join us. Jed Meshew join us for the co-main event. Rob Font joins us for the main event. We're just going to have a blast. So have a blast with us. Until then, everybody, for Casey, I am Mike Heck. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the fights. Let's go.